I think one of 2016's biggest questions definitely has to be, which starter are you picking in Sun and Moon? What, you thought I was gonna say the election?
I would build a great wall.
Screw that! Pokemon is way more important. I mean, come on. Just look at how great these Pokemon are. Decidueye looks awesome, Incineroar looks badass, and Primarina looks... So basically, the starters in this generation were overall great.
Wait a minute. What were you gonna say about Primarina?
Nothing, man. It's awesome. It's great, really. It's super radical, man. I love it.
You're being sarcastic, aren't you?
Me? Sarcastic? I wouldn't kill Popplio.
So today, I'm here joining Eryizo to take part in his best starter series, with this episode going over what is the best starter in Kalos.
Dude, we're skipping Kalos for now and doing the Alolan starters.
But isn't Gen 6 next?
Aura! Do you see these analytics? They're down. They're supposed to be up, okay? I need these views, okay? Just give me these views. Give me these. Are we rolling? Oh. So today, Aura and I are going to help you guys make the right decision on what statistically is the best starter. Better not be Popplio. Of course, there is no right or wrong decision on what starter to pick, except picking Popplio, but there definitely is a best Pokemon to pick that would benefit you the most. Definitely not Popplio.
Dude, come on, Popplio is not that bad of a Pokemon.
Oh, and who's your least favorite Alolan starter?
Popplio.
Thought so.
And in case you haven't seen any of the previous best starter videos, how this works is that we'll be looking at each important character's individual Pokemon, and rate each starter's level of advantage or disadvantage on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being at a total disadvantage, and 5 being the best advantage. We look over everything, from stats to type matchups to moves, and more. We're also not just taking into account trials and the Pokemon League, we're also looking at rival battles and the evil teams, since they're both prominent in the main story.
I also want to mention that we've decided to add more points the more times you battle an important character. For example, you battle Guzma 3 times, so we use the rating system for each separate battle and add up the points from there. All of this should give us a good idea of who the best starter in Alola is. Just remember, there are no real opinions here, so if your favorite starter isn't technically the best, then just kill me. Like find me and just come to my house and shoot me. Like, please. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And with that being said, let's get started.
So let's start off by taking a look at the starter that I think we can all agree is by far the most popular. Everyone's favourite owl with a bow tie, Rowlett. This guy's interesting, because it starts out as a grass flying type, but then eventually loses the flying type in favour for the ghost type, making it the first starter immune to normal and fighting type attacks, which are pretty common throughout the main series Pokemon games.
And taking a closer look at Rowlett's advantages, it starts off really strong taking care of the first Kahuna Hala and the totem Pokemon Wishiwashi. But aside from those, throughout the game it struggles a fair bit, but if powered through, has a very strong finish against Hapu, Hau, Lusamine, and Olivia at the Elite Four. By the way, spoilers.
It also does good against... Well, onto the disadvantages. These are the bad matchups for the Rowlett line. Salazzle, because Poison Fire. Mullane, because Steel types. Mimikyu, because Ghost type versus buffed up Ghost type. Nanu, because Dark types. Guzma, because Bug types with Dark and Flying moves. Plumira, because Salazzle. Gladion, because literally almost all of his Pokemon destroy the Rowlett line. Hala's Elite Four team, because it's full of Dark moves. Acerola, because Ghosts that are faster than you. Kahili, because Flying. And Kukui, because pretty much every one of his Pokemon beats Decidueye. Yes, even Lycanroc, because it outspeeds and has Crunch. It doesn't do amazingly well against Team Skull either, and they're the most common NPCs you come across.
Oh. Sorry, kinda glossed over those points there.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I guess that means it's the best starter, right?
Try again.
Well, I guess that means it's better than Popplio, right?
Keep going.
Well, I guess that it means it's the worst, isn't it?
Yep.
Fuck, well, that's just great. The most popular starter turns out to be the worst as well. Statistically speaking, please don't kill me. Well, I guess that just leaves us with two starters. Litten and... Popplio. Let's just get the ugly one out of the way.
But we already covered Dartrix.
Shut up. I guess we'll talk about Litten then.
So Litten has a pretty rocky start, not really having any advantage during the beginning of the game, as well as having possibly the absolute worst matchup in the entire game against Wishy-Washy in the rain. Which doesn't really help when Wishy-Washy is one of the hardest totem Pokemon to take out. Litten only starts to have an easier time when it reaches Lurantis, which Torracat is pretty much able to sweep. It also does great against Malign Steel types, Vikavolt even with a Knockerberry, Mimikyu, and easily faring the best against Team Skull compared to the other starters.
When Torracat becomes Incineroar, it can completely sweep Faba's Psychic types and do well overall against Guzma even though he has the Water-type Pokemon Golisopod. It also overall beats the majority of Lucamine's team, having to only worry about the Milotic and Beware. But the funny thing is that Beware has the Fluffy ability, which makes it weak to fire. And finally, Incineroar has the advantage against Hau and completely sweeps Acerola's Ghost types.
There are still a handful of weaknesses. On top of a weak start to the game, Incineroar also gets completely destroyed by Hapu's ground types, straight up loses to the Komodo totem, and loses to both of the Kahuna Elite Four members, being beaten by Olivia both before and after becoming part of the Elite Four.
All in all, Litten is a very solid choice to go with, but is it enough to take the crown as the best starter in Alola? Well, I guess we're gonna have to take a look at Popplio to find out. Please, Arceus, no. Taking a look at the start of the game, Popplio has a very neutral start, going even with everybody until exchanging win and loss with Salazzle and Lurantis. It gradually gets a little better throughout the game, minus the Vikavolt you have to face later. It does well against Olivia and her dark types, completely destroys Nanu and his dark types upon becoming a fairy, beats Guzma and Hapu, and completely rips Komodo a new hole. Sorry, that was disgusting. A point to bring up though is that Popplio fares worse against Hau than the other starters thanks to the Pichu line. However, it does do better than the other two starters against the Elite Four, beating Hala and Olivia and going more or less neutral against the rest, making it the best choice for the Pokemon League.
The biggest problem with picking Popplio is once it evolves into the Fairy type Primarina, it does not have a nice time dealing with the majority of poison types that Team Skull has access to. And there are a lot of Skull Grunts in the game that you have to deal with. But apart from that, the Popplio line can pretty much stand their ground against the majority of the game. So now that we've analysed both the remaining two Alola starters, it's time to see out of Litten and Popplio, which is overall, statistically speaking, the best choice for your Alola journey.
Oh, for Christ's sake, please don't let it be Popplio.
And I can now reveal.
Oh god, here it comes.
The best starter for Alola.
It's gonna be Popplio, I freaking know it.
Is...
No!
Listen.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Wait, aren't you the one who decides the winners of these things anyway?
Yeah, but I was still worried, man.
That doesn't make any sense.
So despite the close margin, Litten barely edges out Popplio in the end. Rowlett, you tried, man. Here, take this participation award. You did good, alright? But let's face it, you stood no chance.
Despite Popplio overall having less disadvantages to individual matchups, its biggest downfall was its pretty big weakness to Team Skull, and that Litten had more winning matchups overall. In terms of stats, all three fully evolved starters are very slow, and Incineroar's stats overall were the best distributed compared to the other two starters, which both had very low physical defense. Which didn't help since the majority of Pokemon that you have to battle have more physical moves than special.
Incineroar's typing helped it out a little more than the other two starters. Grass overall is a very weak typing, and Ghost didn't really help Decidueye's case, making it weak to dark types and its own typing. With Popplio's fairy typing, in competitive it might be the best choice for battle, but in terms of the story, not so much. Poison moves are just too common within this region, and Popplio has too little physical defense to take all the blows. The best starter in Pokemon Sun and Moon is Litten. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and become an Eryizo today. I also want to thank my good friend that I've known forever now, AuraGuardian, for joining me today.
Dude, I haven't even known you for a year yet.
So we're going to be heading over to his channel to do... What are we doing again?
Oh, well, at the time of writing the script, we haven't actually decided on a topic yet. It'll have Sun and Moon in the title, probably, most likely, maybe, I don't know. So we'll just have to head over there to find out.
And if you guys enjoyed this video and are new to the channel, I made an entire playlist of best starter videos for you to enjoy. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.